Let me tell you a story. It begins where most stories end, right after a huge, hard-won victory. Our heroes, fresh from saving a town from a ravenous horde, probably think the worst is over. But they're about to find out that a single battle doesn't make you a legend. Oh no. A legend is forged in the fires that come after.
And this quote, man, it just perfectly captures the mood. Picture this, they're all sitting around a fire, piles of treasure in front of them, but it's tense. There's all this history bubbling just under the surface. Old arguments, things they read in some creepy journal. It's like ghosts are sitting there with them, and you just know the road ahead is going to be rocky.
So, who are these heroes we're talking about? Let's do a quick roll call of the crew that's about to become famous. You've got Cedric, the druid with a flair for the dramatic. Talenor, the tough-as-nails ranger, and you can't forget his wolf, Phelan. Thane, the bard whose music sounds like the wind itself. Then there are the two samurai, the stoic Okazaki and the reliable Roberto. And rounding them out, the brilliant elven wizard, Calypso. A powerhouse group for sure, but their biggest test? It's coming from within.
So, after they set aside a good chunk of their loot to help the nearby town of Awfuldarn get back on its feet, which was a pretty stand-up move, their adventurer's curiosity kicked in. You know how it is. They just couldn't resist poking their heads back into that dark, nasty dungeon one last time. They just had to see if they missed anything.
And surprise, surprise, they did. They find this hidden chamber, and it's not dark and gross like the rest of the place. It's huge, and down 3 different corridors, there's this weird, pulsing light. It feels alive. And you know our heroes, they can't resist a glowing light. They pick a path and head right for it.
And what's waiting for them at the end of the hall? Not some snarling beast. Nope, it's a single, perfectly still suit of golden armor, humming with energy, a radiant guardian. Basically a magical security guard made of pure light, built for one thing and one thing only, to keep people like them out. And here we have it, the famous last words. Okazaki, full of a warrior's confidence, just strolls up, declares it's no threat, and pokes it with a stick. A stick! That simple little tap was all it took to set off a holy firestorm. The room just explodes with light. The fight was, to put it mildly, a total disaster. Everyone tried their signature move. Okazaki and Roberto went at it with their swords and just got blasted with radiant energy for their trouble. Talenor and Thane saw some holy symbols and tried to reason with it, speak its language. The Guardian was not interested in talking. Calypso, bless her heart, tried a completely different tactic. She just hugged it and got badly burned. Finally, Okazaki hears more of these things waking up, and he just bolts, doesn't even say goodbye.
In the middle of all this chaos, Thane gets knocked unconscious. He's down for the count. And just then, Talenor does something absolutely incredible. He runs back into the storm of light, shoves a healing goodberry in his friend's mouth, and literally throws him towards the exit to get him to safety. What a move.
A second later, Talenor himself gets tossed out of the room, battered but breathing. The party manages to regroup outside, catching their breath, nursing their wounds and their pride. They had to face it, they lost. This was one fight they just couldn't win, a pretty tough lesson that maybe some secrets are meant to stay secret.
All right, fast forward 4 days. The party, still licking its wounds, makes its way to the city of Mineral. Now this place is the total opposite of the quiet farm town they just saved. Mineral is all about the clang of hammers on anvils, a city built on iron, gold, and ambition. And it's here that those little unspoken cracks in the party are really going to start to show.
For Okazaki the samurai, Mineral has one massive, shiny, very expensive temptation. He finds this absolutely perfect katana, a true blade of legend. The only problem? The price tag is 1,500 gold pieces. That's a fortune, just a little more than he has, and getting that sword becomes the only thing he can think about. And this slide right here, this really shows you everything. While Okazaki is completely obsessed with getting a new toy for himself, Talenor is on a totally different mission. He's at the trade post trying to set up a supply caravan for the people of Awfuldarn. You've got one hero focused inward and another focused outward. Their priorities are just drifting further and further apart. And it's right there, in the middle of doing a good deed, that Talenor makes an amazing discovery. The shopkeeper actually recognizes him. Turns out, word of their victory spread like wildfire, and the folks from Awfuldarn gave them a name, the Gnoll's Bane. Their legend was being born, not in a fight, but in an act of kindness.
So, while Talenor is out there cementing their heroic reputation, what are the others up to? Well, they found a pub, and after a few well-deserved drinks, an idea starts to brew. A wild, kinda dumb, but also kinda brilliant scheme to get Okazaki the money for his sword. The plan? A good old-fashioned barroom hustle.
The plan was simple and beautiful. Roberto and Cedric, natural showmen, start working the crowd, talking up a big fight and taking bets. Okazaki, playing the part of the champion, picks out the biggest, meanest-looking guy in the joint. Someone shouts fight, and it's over. One punch. The big guy is out cold on the floor. The plan worked perfectly.
So they're flush with cash and victory, the whole bar is cheering for them. Life is good, right? Well, you know that feeling when things are going a little too well? When high spirits lead to bad decisions? That's where we are right now. This fun little game is about to get very real and very personal.
Cedric, who's definitely feeling the ale, jumps up on a table. He's in full-on hype man mode. And in a voice that echoes through the whole pub, he throws down this grand challenge, pointing at Okazaki not just as a winner, but as his champion.
The whole place goes dead silent. I mean, after what they all just saw, who would be dumb enough to fight that guy? Who's going to step up and challenge the man who took down the local tough guy with a single punch? For a long moment, it seems like nobody.
But then, a voice cuts through the quiet. And it's not some other brawler, it's one of them. It's Thane. The bard stands up, slowly cracking his knuckles. And the look on his face, it's not a joke. It's not part of the game. It is pure, ice-cold anger. And just like that, a friendly scam has turned into a serious fight between friends.